everyone, within the speaking part 1, the examiner will have 3 topics where they'll ask you 3 or 4 questions in each topic, okay? So, Amy,
Yes.
I'd like you to talk about your hometown or city. So what kind of place is it?
The place where I live is in a city, and it's quite crowded, unlike before, where not much people are living.
Okay. What is the most interesting part of your city?
I can say that one of the most interesting part in our city is the main city, which you can see the mall and all the other infrastructures that most people can go to have fun or relax. We have parks in there, as well as the bars. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making some notes, don't worry. They won't do that in the exam, don't worry. What
Okay.
kinds of jobs do the people in your city do?
For me, I work as a nurse, but I'm not sure what other people do. But based on what I see every time I commute to my work, I can see they are wearing uniforms that looks like they're working in the factories. And then mostly, I'm guessing on company. They're working in the company, as well as maybe clinic nurses as well. Uh, that's just the common uniforms I see, so I'm just guessing based on what I see from the other people.
Would you say it's a good place to live?
Before, I think so, but now I think it's not that advisable to live in our place because it's getting quite crowded with all the amount of houses and residents living in our area right now, and with all the other factories that have been built before. So I can say that we are having some air pollution here because of that. Yeah.
Tell me about the kind of accommodation you live in.
We are living in, I am living in house. Uh, it's a duplex house, I can say, and I'm living with my family. So we have someone living with us, a place or a room that they just rent for a while because they are working as factory workers. So yeah.
Okay. Well done. How do you feel?
I'm quite nervous. It's been a long time since I spoke like this. It's like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I haven't
Okay.
practiced.
Well, no, you did it. You did a good job. What do the rest of you think? How do you think she did?
I'm sorry.
I'm just asking everyone else. They thought that you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good job,
I
Amy.
know the feeling. Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to sort of highlight to everyone is the good length of her answers. We would be expecting for part 1 a couple of sentences, extended and complex sentences, to bring her up at a band 7. So band 7 answers, very similar to the writing, need to have a range of grammar and a range of complex structures. And you had some really good complex structures in there. And you also had a good range of tenses. And I don't know whether any of you noticed, but she had some quite complex grammar in there as well, including the present perfect passive was in there, which was really good to hear. You did a good range of tenses, but also what was good was that you were not making errors with your basic tenses. Again, the more errors you make, the lower your band score is going to get. And so we would expect, as we saw here, not that many mistakes with grammar, and especially using these complex structures in the correct way. That's really important at band 7. You were able to talk at length without sort of a lot of hesitation, and that again is quite important at band 7. It's difficult to explain, but as an examiner, you can recognize when a student is thinking, whether they're thinking about the word in English or the idea. And we would expect there to be some hesitation around thinking of ideas, of thinking how to answer the question. But hesitations when you're trying to find the right grammar or the right word in English. So I think you did well there. You were able to produce the language that we would expect quite comfortably. Mark has made a comment here about using common words. I mean, the idea of the IELTS isn't that you use difficult or complex words. It's that you have enough range of vocabulary to fully answer the questions. And I don't know whether you all heard this, but the kind of vocabulary that Amy was producing would be the vocabulary we would expect in these kind of questions. So she was using infrastructures. She talked about renting a room. She talked about resident. She talked about crowded. She talked about people that actually have a good range of vocabulary. It's not about using these difficult or unusual words, but it's about having the vocabulary to adequately talk about the subject that the examiner is asking you about. So I think you did well there. You were able to join your ideas together well. And pronunciation, I thought overall your pronunciation was good. I've heard it quite a few times that with so this is just me picking up on one thing, so don't worry too much, Amy, but my job here is to try and help. But it's the pronunciation of city, and how I've heard it pronounced quite a lot is city. And can you say for me, Amy, city?
City.
City. It's that sound in English. We love it. We like to eat our words. And city. So the city got the at the end. So it's not going up like the city, but it's city. Yeah. So that was just one thing. The other kind of area that I would start listening out for now, I mean, this is just one part of part 1, but I would start thinking as an examiner to be listening for your use of the articles and the. There was, you were adding the word the when it wasn't necessary. So for example, you said in the company. So we would say something like in a company or in company. So as an examiner, that's what I would start listening out for, because that kind of repeated mistake would then become an issue in your exam. If it was just a one-off, then you think, okay, it was just a slip, not an error. So I would, and it's pretty common for everyone, Amy, is the and the, and when to use them and when not to use them. So I would say that's probably the area that I would start picking up on. But I think overall you did a really good job. Keep trying to extend your sentences. If you can, try and get more of a range of grammar in there. And the one thing that I would say that worked very well in Amy's favor, which is surprising, is that she actually looked like she was enjoying herself, which is important. Looking and being And getting that enthusiasm will naturally help with your intonation. So we always say, imagine that the examiner has asked you the most interesting question in the world. Oh, what kind of place is it? Well, actually, it's a wonderful place. So I know it sounds quite difficult because you'll be nervous, but that the enthusiasm will really help with your intonation. And intonation is very important in the pronunciation section. They're not just listening for how you pronounce the individual words, they're listening for how, we're listening for how you present the words together. Amy's pronunciation is really good here. In terms of her intonation, her words go up in the right way and they go down for most of her sentences. And she links her words together, which is really important. But the examiner for pronunciation will be listening to not just words, but the sentences, whether your voice is going up and down. So trying to put some enthusiasm into your speaking will naturally improve your intonation.